Hello and welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves the World. We still have to have plane conversations, apparently, because people can't control themselves. If you are frustrated at the airport, do not assault someone who works at the airline. It's bad news. It's not going to end well for you. You are going to get arrested. You're going to be put on a no-fly list. You'll never be able to fly again, and you probably shouldn't. If you can't control your rage to the point where you can't keep yourself from trying to harm another person and break stuff. So there was a woman, Southwest flight, flying standby. Standby sucks. We've all done it. And if it is an oversold flight, you're not going to get on. If it's a very crowded flight, the sense of relief you have when you finally do get on, you don't care if you're in the middle seat, in the back, next to screaming children, and a full bathroom, as long as you can get from point A to point B. I've been there as well. So this woman flying Southwest standby, never a good recipe. She doesn't make her third flight in a row, and she loses her mind as if somehow the ticketing agent is conspiring to keep her from the plane. So it's a big guy. It's a husky fella in a pink polo shirt, and she kicks him. She winds up and just kicks him as hard as she can. And she's a little woman with an accent and bit of belly showing. Not a taut belly, not the kind of belly you'd see on a Pilates instructor. The kind of belly you'd see, it's someone who goes to TGI Fridays for happy hour and loaded tater skins. So she kicks the guy, and then she starts smashing the monitor as though it's the monitor's fault, and as though open seats were showing up. But everyone was just so mad at her that the monitor got involved, and somehow Southwest AI was like, "You're not getting on this plane, devil woman." So she freaks out. The Southwest ticketing agent is trying to get away from her. To his credit, he's walking around like, nope, because FAFO, around, find out. You kick a man, he gets to defend himself. And if a big husky guy like that connects with a little irrational witch like that devil woman, punches her in the face, she's out cold. Then she's going to sue the airline. But she had to come in. He didn't hit her because he is the one with self-control here, which we all have to tap into, because I know flying sucks. Flying with crazy people sucks. Everyone is crazy now, but we all have to do our best. So in addition to that, and it's like, you know exactly what to do. Don't kick someone. Don't trash a monitor, because you're never going to fly Southwest again. The guy probably called Tom home and had ICE scoop her up, and she was probably deported to an El Salvadorian prison. Just don't do it. Don't kick. Don't scream. Learn to take out your frustration in other avenues. Do push-ups. Do jumping jacks. And then people will think you're a different kind of crazy, and they will stay away from you. Problem solved. The other problem that has arisen on planes, and this is a tricky one. Should you watch a rated R movie that has nudity on a plane? Obviously, people hate it when movies are edited when they are offered on flights. That is wrong. Airlines shouldn't be doing that. They should not be editing content. And they always say this movie has been edited to format your screen, formatted to fit your screen. That's fine. But, don't cut things out of movies because you're a prude. Having said that, if you don't want me to watch a movie because there are younger eyes who may be looking over my seat back, spying on what I'm watching, then don't offer the movie. That's on the airline. That is not on the passenger. So we do what we can to get ourselves through flights, especially long flights. I just took a 10-hour flight from Honolulu to JFK and, watched several movies. And, none of them were questionable. I don't remember seeing any nudity. I did once watch Wedding Crashers, which does have a lot of boobs in that movie. And one of my daughters was sitting next to me, so I took out the big emergency pamphlet and sort of put it on my screen like this, which just created more curiosity. So I had to shuttle through. But if an airline offers it, I'm sorry, I feel the same way about reclining seat backs. If it is offered, it is a feature of the flight. And, I know it says like parental advisory. So parents, yes, you shouldn't put your child in front of a movie that has nudity and violence and swearing and drug use and all that stuff. But if I'm flying by myself and, I'm seated next to your child, then you switch with your child and you sit in the middle seat so your child is on the aisle. And that way you can control whatever they watch.
Don't go anywhere. More Kennedy Saves the World right after this.
Sucks to fly. One of the few things that makes it better is a rated R movie. I don't think that you have the responsibility, but there's one etiquette expert who feels that you shouldn't watch those things. And if you do, that you should fast forward through the questionable parts. No, that it is a parent's job. Parenting should be the most activated. You should be the most vigilant as a parent when you are flying, more so than any other context. But, like flyers who are by themselves or people who are flying without children, yes, that is our time to find a meditative place and just sink away into our seat for a few hours. That is not the case when you are a parent. And I had a full podcast about the rules of flying, and one of them is you have to be mindful of your child. It is not a time for gentle parenting. It is a time for authoritarian parenting and being controlling and demanding, which is exhausting, but you chose to bring your children on a plane. I've done it countless times from the time my girls were babies and always had a solution to every conceivable problem, from tantrums to vomits. And that's what parents have to do. It doesn't make you better than other parents. That is the baseline. So part of that is, yes, don't let your little tyrant kick my seats, because I will turn around and say something, because if you're not going to parent them, I will. But if, I am not in the business of content moderation when it comes to someone else's eyeballs. That's on you. So either make sure that you have an iPad loaded with stuff for your kid, or you are the one who is programming age-appropriate movies in their screen so they have something to watch and they're not watching mine. Do I look over people's shoulders and into their seats and watch what they're watching? All the time. And sometimes that's how you get the best recommendations for movies, because if you're watching something, first of all, it's fun to try and figure out what movie they're watching. And second of all, if it looks pretty good, like, you watch it yourself. But there's also something really fun about watching a movie or a TV show with no volume and creating the plot line in your head. So yeah, I do that a lot. I don't feel like that's being nosy at all. And I don't expect you to moderate your content for me. I never did for my children, because I sat with them and either kept them entertained or occupied, or made sure that I was lording over whatever they were watching. And, so it wasn't something racy or loosey-goosey. I do remember smoking on a plane when I was like 11 years old, because my ne'er-do-well brother snuck a clove cigarette onto a plane, and he gave me a puff, and I remember feeling very buzzed and feeling like it was very wrong. This is when you could smoke on planes. This was like the early 80s. This is like 1984, and you could still smoke on planes. But I remember he was so worried my dad was going to find out, who was asleep in a seat several rows ahead of us, because you could smoke it like in the back 2 rows of the plane. So he was puffing down that clove cigarette so fast that he barfed. That's bad parenting. That's on my dad. But the fond memories when planes used to be just a big flying casino. But now I am not in charge of your child's nursery. That is on you. It's one of the problems that we have in society is every parent wants to be a best friend, and they want to believe that their spawn is just a perfect little angel. Oh my God, you're amazing. No, Your child can be annoying. You have to do something about it. That also goes for things you don't want them to see. You are also the shield. Parenting is tough, but that's what you signed up for. Don't hurt people. Don't take their stuff. Don't expect me to parent for you. I've already done it, and I'm exhausted. This has been Kennedy Saves the World. I'm Kennedy.
Listen ad-free with the Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app.
Oh, go ahead and leave me a review while you're there. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
You've been listening to Kennedy Saves the World on the Fox News Podcast Network.